Welcome to another episode of the most beloved Japanese video game show on the planet, Sushi Bites. We're going to look at some more fantastic arcade games. We've looked at The Lost World and The Ocean Hunter here on Sushi Bites, and I honestly had a great time. Those games are fine examples of what we love to call light gun games, more accurately referred to as on-rail shooters. These are perhaps some of my most enjoyed arcade experiences. Sadly, in my neck of the woods, even with everything reopening, there still isn't much of an arcade presence anywhere remotely close to my stomping grounds. But thankfully, I can enjoy the games from the comfort of my own home through the power of emulation. I'd like to look Silent Hill Arcade features a unique plot, not completely disconnected from the Silent Hill canon. The game's story is loosely connected to an article that the player can discover when exploring the Toluca prison in Silent Hill 2. The article tells of a tourist ship named the Little Baroness, which disappeared in 1918 on a very foggy November day. Silent Hill Arcade is inspired by this article, creating its own characters and telling its own story. It doesn't necessarily explain what happened to the Little Baroness and its passengers, but like I said earlier, you don't go to the arcade to learn things. You go to the arcade to turn your brain off and just soak up the atmosphere like a sponge of fun. I had been disregarding this game outright, but at least it was based on something from the overarching Silent Hill lore, and was developed with assistance from a few members of Team Silent. While this game is an on-rail shooter and a bastardization of Silent Hill as a whole, it does at least make some attempt to respect the source material. I've been hard on you, Silent Hill Arcade. That's as close to an apology as you're gonna get. So our main characters, Eric and Tina, along with their friends from the Occult Club, decide to go visit Silent Hill one day in 1993. The reason for their trip is to research the spooky rumor that the bodies of the Little Baroness's passengers lay at the bottom of the lake. Really, it doesn't matter how or why they go there. The town of Silent Hill does call out to people specifically after all. They check in at the famous Jack's Inn, and after one particularly bad nightmare, Eric wakes in his room with the door wide open and fog seeping inside. And within the fog, creatures. Just like that one Stephen King book about the creatures in the fog, it was like called The Fog or something. Most of the club members are missing and in presumed danger, so Eric meets up with Tina, and they explore the town of Silent Hill, looking for their friends, looking for answers, looking for my dead wife. So begins a wild goose chase through the foggy, empty streets of the town, visiting various locales and blasting away new and old monsters alike. A visit to Brookhaven Hospital sees you swarmed by bugs when Pyramid Head, the town's executioner, appears for no real reason other than he's a fan favorite. Some bosses directly inspired those that would later appear in Silent Hill Homecoming and Downpour, such as the spider-like creature Mama, who you fight around the midway point of this game. The last chapter has you going on what I'd probably call a sightseeing tour of some of the series' most iconic locations. There's nothing more frightening than a bunch of Robbie the Rabbits cutting you to ribbons at the Lakeside Amusement Park. The final boss is particularly nasty, gotta love the attention to detail on the visuals here. The game is really quite nice looking for an arcade game of its time, and I wish I could get into it more. You see, getting this game to run is one thing, but getting it in an actually playable state is another thing entirely. After discovering Techno Parrot, I can at least experience Silent Hill Arcade to some extent. It comes with its own caveats playing the game this way, because Techno Parrot isn't an emulator in the traditional sense. It acts as a wrapper or launcher that virtualizes the environment, so it fools Windows-based arcade games into running without the required hardware or protection being present. This means the game still runs on Windows, still makes use of your processor and graphics card natively, and therefore the game performance can be spotty or imperfect as a result. Errors and issues are to be expected. Silent Hill Arcade, for example, has invisible enemies that hinder progress. Most folks say that this is a glitch or a bug, but honestly, when I'm playing this just feels like an anti-piracy measure. The only real way to fix this invisible enemy problem is to run Techno Parrot on an error-appropriate Windows XP machine, or so I'm told. I don't exactly have one of those laying around at this time, and I don't see why my decent modern gaming PC shouldn't be able to run a game from 2007. Despite the invisible enemy problem, Silent Hill Arcade can thankfully still be enjoyed to some extent in Techno Parrot, with a built-in level select found within the game's launcher. We can at least see most of the game and talk a little about the experience of playing it through for the first time ever, though the story is unfortunately ruined when played in this state, as is the flow of the game. I would not recommend playing the game this way. I wish I could properly follow the plot, but every time I get into it and get a feel for it, the invisible enemies cock-block me on my journey to save waterlogged Hannah from the depths of Toluca Lake. There are alternate endings based on how many of your friends you can save. There are alternate paths where you can find different weapons to use. And there's even a UFO sighting in each map. Shooting the UFOs will give you the UFO ending, a staple of the Silent Hill series since its very first entry back on the PlayStation.
What?
Eric, I am so proud of you that you got over this crisis. Everything was my doing.
Great-grandpa?
I mean, look at this. The environments look great. The monsters look great. It's one big love letter to the classic Silent Hill games. It's just a on-rails shooter love letter, which isn't what those games are about. The more I play this, putting up with its crashes, sound glitches, and invisible enemies, the more I just end up lamenting that I've never had a decent opportunity to play this game properly. No, I had the opportunity, it's just my pride made me too blind to see. With Konami just sitting on Silent Hill Arcade, it could find a new lease on life with a Switch port, perhaps. Honestly, at this point I'd just take Book of Memories Remastered, with that starved for Silent Hill games. I can't believe I just said that. I almost threw up in my mouth. Silent Hill Arcade is a game I truly regret not giving a chance back when I had the opportunity to play it. And with the series only existing now as merchandise on the Konami store, it has joined a whole batch of other beloved franchises that now live on only within our hearts. This has been Sushi Bites. Thanks for... Oh, my head! What's this doing here? It really pisses me off. It's like spinning on a sacred place.